Good morning. This table is from a report in Times of India, and that India's central bank is selling U.S. Treasury bonds and buying gold instead. From June of last year to this June, India sold $14 billion worth of Treasury bonds. What we're going to look at today is the other countries on this chart. The ones that are closer to China, diplomatically, are all selling Treasuries. We've talked about China selling U.S. government bonds before, but now they have company. India down, Brazil down, Saudi down. India is a major seller, even though India runs large trade surpluses with the United States. The U.S. trade deficit with India is the 10th largest of all the trading partners, and that is growing over time. It is only in very recent years that this is even possible. This chart here is in all the macroeconomics textbooks across the world and explains balance of payments. Trade deficits are the same as capital account surpluses because deficits that the United States, in this case, runs for trade results in surpluses in capital invested back into the United States. The balance of payments always equals zero. So from 1980 through 2011, the United States economy benefited by more than $8 trillion from those $8 trillion worth of trade deficits being reinvested back into the United States. But this is from 2011 and presupposed a global system, one single system, of banking and finance and trade. The BRICS countries are building a new one. China and India, along with Vietnam, we could say, they're happy to take our dollars and not invest them back. We're not sure what they're doing with them. A lot of it is to buy gold in Western countries, to be hauled out of vaults in the US and Europe and sent to vaults in Asia. And there are also giant piles of dollars and euro being moved here to capitalize in new financial centers in Hong Kong and in the Middle East, collateralizing trade using their own banks instead of ours. Another feature that stands out here is that the most friendly countries to the United States are doing a lot more buying, and more than enough so far to offset the selling from China, India, and Saudi. Japan bought $56 billion more, but they may be done buying for a while. The UK bought $112 billion more treasuries since last June. France is up $70 billion. Israel, on a percentage basis, saw the biggest jump of all. That $32 billion increase is a 46% rise in their holdings in 1 year. All of these countries are ramping up their spending on U.S. treasuries at a time when the fiscal situation in their own countries is deteriorating. The current French government isn't likely to make it another 2 months because of the debt problems there and no good choices to deal with them. It costs the French government more to borrow money than it costs the Greek government to borrow. And even the Greeks are more frugal than the Americans these days. The UK has the same problem. Worries are mounting there about the government's finances. Government borrowing costs are the highest level in 27 years and growing faster than in any other G7 country. But it's not like the others aren't trying. Government bonds in Germany, France, and the Netherlands are at their highest rates in 2011. In Israel, they need new borrowings to cover the cost of their wars against Iran. And in Gaza, there are big budget increases for the IDF to continue intense military operations until the end of the year, with extra set aside for the eventual occupation of Gaza. In Japan, more of the same, record overall spending, record healthcare spending, record interest payments, record spending on defense. Our larger point here is that at the same time, the United States needs to roll over a tsunami of expiring debt and borrow $2 to $3 trillion more just to keep the Pentagon's lights on. The biggest buyers of our Treasury debt have big problems of their own. And countries with some of the biggest trade surpluses with the United States, China and India, are just taking those dollars out of our banks and out of our system and out of this entire economic model that did govern the economy for the whole world until very recently. We're in a world today that nobody thought could exist, but does. The government of Greece is considered more creditworthy than the United States and most of the rest of Europe. China can lend dollars, United States dollars, to their allies and trading partners at lower rates than the United States government itself can get. The economic sanctions against Russia made them stronger instead incentivized the construction of a new economic system. None of these things were supposed to be possible, but here we are. If you're living in a country on this map that is either red or orange, your government is still making lots and lots of dollars and bringing them back home as fast as it can. And if you live in a country that's gray, your government's probably broke. This is Huizhou in Guangdong. Be good.